Champions League playoffs draws are out, right? And your club, Real Madrid, will play Manchester City. It's as if UEFA just want one big gun to go out as quick as possible. So they've joined you guys at Manchester City. So what do you have to say now? Are you happy with the draw?
Yeah, of course I am happy with the draw because I
Hope you
was
know, first, hope you know that you don't have defenders.
yeah, I know.
Okay.
And before even the draw came out, I think there was this is it prediction also that showed that we are going to meet either Bayern Munich, Man City, or Celtic, I think. So honestly, I was expecting either Man City or Bayern Munich. I wasn't even expecting Celtic. I saw some Madrid fans were like, okay, Celtics. I know that in the end we are going to meet either Bayern Munich or Man City. So I was already prepared. No, now the issue is I think this thing has been going around social media since the draws. Like so many Madrid fans on Twitter, Facebook, and social media spaces have been saying this thing, and I share the same opinion. And that particular thing is that we aren't scared of Man City. That's just the truth. That's the fact. But we are scared of our manager's tactics. That's what we are scared of. We are not scared of Man City as a team. We are not afraid to meet them, in is it two legs or so. But we are scared of our manager's tactics.
I don't understand
That
manager's tactics.
that's like everybody knows Ancelotti. Even his concrete fans, even those ones that are like, they are Ancelotti people, they like him, whatever he does, they don't see anything wrong in it. That in fact they're even the ones coming out to come and say it these days that they are scared of his tactics. Scared of his tactics in the sense that I know I've said this thing on this show before.
Mm.
Like you have center backs, you have natural center backs in your team. I think one of our major issues has been around the defense. We have a major concrete natural center backs, but
Okay.
Ancelotti opt to use a midfielder, should I say a defensive midfielder, to play in a center back because probably he has more name than the CB, like the natural center back that is playing. And this is the case of Asensio and Tchouaméni. This is an issue that the fans have been talking about it for a very long time. Asensio is 21 already, and he has shown that he's capable of handling that position more than, I think I told you this thing before that Asensio, as far as this season is concerned, is our best center back. He's even better than Rudiger this
Yeah,
season.
I noticed that
So
he defends more like a Ramos.
Yes, he's just like
Ramos,
a younger version of Prime Ramos. Let me put it that way. Because if you can remember when Ramos was playing for Madrid at its early days, he was playing as a right back before he was switched back to center back. So Asensio can do both because in our previous games he has been playing on the right and he has shown that he's very much better in those positions. Then if you have a center back like Asensio, a 21-year-old that is better, that's showing signs of improvement game after game, then why do you opt to use Tchouaméni at centre back? Somebody that is a
experience.
makeshift centre back. Hmm?
Experience, maybe.
Experience, which even at his natural position, I'm not saying that he's bad, but he has not been good lately in his natural position, which is the defensive midfield position. So you are now bringing him to a place where he's kind of playing in an interim position, and he has been costing us. Even the if you watch our last game against Espanyol, I think so many the oppositions were throwing long balls behind Tchouaméni because they knew that he was the weak link in the defense. So they were throwing long balls behind him, and it was a disaster upon disaster. I'm not saying that other defenders are good or something, but it was a disaster. So if and we are all aware in the world of football now that if you have a weak link, especially in defense, even if it's one person, he can jeopardize the effort of other players in that particular
Exactly.
defensive lineup.
Your
And
opponents
that's
will
what's
target it.
and that's what has been happening. So, and apart from that, I think the other position that we are having issues with is the right back and the left back. The worst of it is even the left back because people tend to look at the right back position and be like, okay, look at this, look at that, blah blah blah. But me, I tend to look at the left back position. The right back, I can give excuse to Madrid because we don't have Cavani is not there. Lucas is trying. He's very good only in offensive, and defense is not that good, and all that. But we have in the left back, we have two players on that position. We have Mendy, we have Frank Garcia, and we have Kamavinga, who is out injured also, that can play as a makeshift left back. Now, Frank Garcia so far this season has been our best left back player, whether in offensive or defensive, call it anyone. He has been our best left back player. But Ancelotti will still choose to play Mendy. Mendy that so far this season, he has been horrible this season. And I just saw yesterday a report that because Alaba is injured now. Alaba just got injured. And Rudiger is out injured also. So I just saw that he's planning to use Mendy as a center back. I said, okay, fine. See, we have injury issues. I agree. Like, it's to an extent, it's even better to use Mendy as a center back option than even to use, Mendy as a left back, because he offers nothing in attack and he offers far less in defense. Madrid fans always say this, that, okay, if you are playing Mendy that is good in defense, is this, is that. And I say this thing all the time. Show, like, the statistics is out there. Mendy, see, they will tell you that, okay, if Mendy plays, that we don't concede, blah, blah, blah. I could remember there was this El Clasico, Mendy played, and we considered how many goals? 5 goals. Was it 5 or 4 goals?
No, that's is it the Super Cup?
Yes.
Super Cup, I think it was 5 goals, 5-2, yeah, right? Yeah, 5-2.
So and most of our games that we've considered against Barcelona, it has always been Mendy. And Frank Garcia, whenever Frank Garcia is playing, he tends to make, like, he tends to give, that kind of Marcelo Ronaldo link back then. So he tends to give Vinicius that kind of Marcelo Ronaldo link. So he tends to reduce the workload of Vinicius up front. Yeah. So, and that's another thing that most people, don't look at. So in general, what I see in Ancelotti is a very great coach, a very good manager, probably the greatest manager of all time. But when it comes to these issues, I think Ancelotti has this, favoritism within the team. He has this particular set of players.
Sorry for interfering. Don't you think that all these fans and coaches that used to do, okay, they want a system, Don't you think that this system of the team makes you predictable? Because you become predictable, and the more you are repeating the same thing, other opponents are studying you. You become predictable, and they stop you. For example, let's look at Manchester City in the Premier League. You will not say that the squad is that bad. No. Other managers have caught up. They now understand how to play better. So that's the problem of being too systematic, or let me say too robotic. You want to see a system, you want to see repetitive patterns, players moving like this, like no. Sometimes allow these players enjoy themselves. And me, I think that's what even this guy too is trying to do. It is a Como team in Serie A. Yes, we'll have a little system for Fabregas, but let there be freedom. I think he's copying me. I feel Fabregas is copying the likes of Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger too had a good pattern of play, but sometimes he allowed the players to express themselves. Let them express themselves. So I don't know why sometimes Real Madrid are always complaining that and this guy, he doesn't have the pattern. Is this, is that? Yeah, he's winning matches for you guys. He's winning matches.
No, see, I understand. I understand your point.
When last the Manchester United fan see his team? yeah. See there.
No, see, I understand. I understand your point exactly, and I think this issue that I just mentioned about having a system, it makes you predictable and all that. Now, what I want to see here is that Ancelotti has always his system, because I told you this thing before, that you see so many Madrid fans or other fans saying that Ancelotti doesn't have tactics and all that, and I asked them, okay, I say, what is the meaning of tactics? What is tactics in the first place? Even the freestyling that we say Ancelotti does is a tactic. It's a tactic in football. So whether it's low block, whether it's jam pressing, whether it's anything, it's a tactic. So that is his tactic, and he's very good at it. So, but my point is that this is not that he doesn't have a system. He has a system, and this particular thing that we're talking about, or we're seeing game in, game out, is a system. His system is a kind of this thing that he relies on, ready-made players. He relies on players that have already, well versed in that position, and all that. That is the kind of coach he is. He relies. He doesn't. I say this thing all the time that he doesn't. He's not that coach to develop, young players. He's not. He's not that coach. If you want to, Adagula, Hendrick, and some other young players, essential to grow in that team, Ancelotti is not your man. If you want to keep Ancelotti, then you have to bring ready-made players. Like, let's say now we're battling defense, maybe you have to start bringing in high-profile defenders for him to use. That he's that kind of player. Because if you bring, let's say, a Castilla player, level player for him and say, okay, use this guy in place of injury, he would. He will either convert a striker to go back and play defense for him, provided he knows the person. So that's the system. And even with that system, that makes him predictable. And I say this thing with all manner of confidence, because if you watch our previous games, last 2 seasons, I think with Man City, that in Champions League that were eliminated with Man City, if you notice, you see that the second leg, Guardiola studied Ancelotti, and he knew what Ancelotti was going to do. If I'm here in Yobe State in Damatru, talking to you, and I will tell you that this is what Ancelotti will do. This is his lineup. These are the people he's going to change when it comes to maybe 75 minutes, because that's when he start making his changes. When it comes to 75 to 80 minutes, these are the people that he will change. The first person that will come off that game is Ceballos. The second person that will come off is Rodrigo. The third person that will come off, he's not going to change Rodrigo. He's not going to change Bellingham. He's not going to change, if I hear as just a fan will tell you that, then imagine the likes of Guardiola, who are top class managers. That means they must have studied it. They must have studied him, like thoroughly. They must have finished, have passed through his school of Ancelotti. So, and that makes him predictable.
Sure.
In the Premier League this season has always been that is he has not been predictable. Even we that we play Premier League fantasy, we don't like using Man City players because if you choose Foden today, he might choose not to start Foden. So if you choose Bruno, what do you call it? What's this guy, Kevin De Bruyne? You might see him starting, Matheus Nunes or somebody in the midfield. If you choose Haaland today, you might see him playing Omar Marmoush or something. So you like that lack of predictability. It's making so many people not to even choose Man City players, not because they are bad or something, but because they don't like, you choose the player and you end up not starting or something like that, and maybe 10 minutes to go and you put in the player and you just get 1 point or 2 points. But what do you call it? Ancelotti has always been predictable from the beginning. His starting lineup is predictable. His changes are predictable. His pattern of play is the same. Once you shut down Vinicius, you shut down Kylian Mbappe, you engage Bellingham, that's the end of Madrid. Nobody will do anything. Maybe Rodrigo will just come in with a spark in a 2 or 3 minute spark, and then we're winning the game. But once you shut down these players, we don't have any issue. And I just saw that this our game that we're playing, is it today? Leganes, we're playing today in the Leganes in the Copa Day. Is resting Vinicius and Bellingham, and Alaba is out injured. I think Rudiger is injured also. So I'm just anxious to see what he's going to do. So and the truth is that he knows what he needs to do. That's the sad part of it. He knows what he needed to do. Let me take you back to our game with Man City in the Champions League. Is it semi-final, second leg? Last 2 seasons?
Okay, last 2 seasons.
That one the one that they eliminated us.
All
so
right.
he Rudiger played alongside who was this other center back pairing called? Let me remember. It wasn't Militao, because Militao was suspended. So I think it was Alaba. So Rudiger played alongside Alaba because Militao was suspended in that game. So, and he did well. He was able to hold himself against Haaland. He was able to not just keeping Haaland at bay, he was able to make so many interceptions, and all that. Then Camavinga played as a left back. I told you this before that Ancelotti is a master of using players out of their position. He's very, very good at it. That's just one thing that I will give it to him. So he played Kamavinga at left back, Carvajal at right back, and other positions remain the same. I think we played with Vinicius and Mbappe up front, with Valverde playing normally as a left right winger. So in that game, we ended up, the first leg was 1-1. It was very good. The game was open. In the second leg, before the second leg, we had a weekend game with, I think, Osasuna and Mallorca. I've forgotten which of the teams. Then he still played Kamavinga at left back when you're supposed to, bring in somebody because you have a Champions League game ahead the following week. So he played Kamavinga, and Kamavinga got a knock in that game. So coming to the second leg, Kamavinga was played with injury. Modric was not fully fit. Benzema was not fully fit. But all of them started the game. And then the worst of it happened, which is, as we all predicted, or let me say, as I predicted what he was going to do. I knew that Militao, after coming back from suspension, is going to start that game. I said, why? Like, since Rudiger gave you a world-class performance in the first leg, why can't you just stick in with your defensive lineup of that particular game? Even if you are going to keep Kamavinga at the left back, keep your normal, what you did in the first leg that worked for you. Use that particular thing. He ended up introducing Militao in place of Rudiger. Rudiger was on the bench, having played his best in that first leg. He was on the bench. Now, in the first half, after the first half, he knew that he was wrong. So he immediately, coming into the second half, he removed Modric and brought in Rudiger. So you know what you're supposed to do, but you still, because of stubbornness, you refuse to do that. And that is what has been happening over these years. He knows that Asensio is better in that position. Asensio is providing you, in fact, Asensio is giving you all-round performance in the midfield. You see him at left back, you see him at right, you see him at defense, you see him even attacking. He has pace, he has this, marking, everything that you need in a defender and a player, a Madrid kind of player, he has it. Like you said, a Ramos kind of player, he has it. But still yet, you choose to bench him. You choose to bench him. I must tell you that this is our last game with Espanyol. The defeat, I wasn't happy with the defeat, but to an extent, I was happy because the only way that Ancelotti will get to learn is when he uses a tactics and the tactics end up making him to either draw or lose that game. If we had won that game with that tactics, I'm telling you that is the tactic that you continue using until maybe he tend to lose the game. So that's why whenever, even the El Clasico, the Super Cup, I wasn't too, when I went to that game, I was not fully optimistic that I was going to win that game. I was expecting a draw, actually, because so when we lost that game, I was like, okay, at least the lesson here to be learned is that Ancelotti will know that this tactic is not working.
So
You have a system, you have something that is working for you, but he won't. So, like in general, let me just say, finally, we as Madrid fans, let me just speak to because I've seen so many people comment on this same issue. Like, we as Madrid fans playing Man City, we aren't that scared of Man City. Looking at even without this, their drop in form and all that, we aren't scared of Man City. But this is not the first time I'm facing big guns in after the group stage of UCL or something. But what we are scared of is what the manager will do. It's his tactics. That's what we're scared of. Let me just, before you ask your this, let me say this. To me, my preferred lineup would be that you have Vinicius left wing, Rodrigo right wing, Kylian Mbappe as the top 9. You have two, let's say, a kind of 4-2-1-3 formation where you have Bellingham supporting the strikers up front. Then you have two holding DMs or two holding central midfielders, which is you use Tchouaméni and Ceballos, because Ceballos has been one of our best players so far. Then at the defensive lineup, you can play Valverde on the right, because definitely we are going to have somebody like Savinho on that side, on that right side, and he's pacey, he's fast and all that. So you need somebody like Valverde to keep up with him, because Lucas will just end up, messing up and all that. Then on the left side, you have Fran Garcia, who is also very good. He's fast, even if you dribble past him, you still see him jumping up and following you, and all that. Then at the center back pairing, you have Rudiger and Asensio, and then Couto as our keeper. I think that would be my preferred lineup for facing Man City. But let's watch because we have so many injuries so far. Rudiger is out injured. Militao that one has been injured for a while. Alaba has recently got out injured. Camavinga is out injured. So we have to wait and see. And I think that's another reason why he decided to rest Vinicius and Bellingham. Maybe he doesn't want any surprises.
So finally, before we go, what will be your score prediction?
Yeah.
Because the first leg is at the Etihad. So what will be your score prediction?
This score prediction, seriously, I know that no matter what, it's going to be hard for Madrid to not concede a goal. Seriously, it's going to be hard for us to not concede a goal, with or without Asensio. It's going to be very hard for us because sometimes Asensio tend to overwork himself and even get a penalty. So, and I tend to judge good defenders with that. If I see a defender playing his heart out and even eventually concede a penalty, I'll say, okay, kudos, because that's what most of these great defenders do. So to me, I would say maybe just 2-1, 2-1 in favor of Madrid. Looking at the form that Man City's form in a while, we are better than them so far in the case of our form. So to looking at that form, and we are playing a Champions League knockout game, so is a kind of a do or die affair. So I would just say maybe 2-1, and then we'll finish the job at the Santiago Bernabeu.
All right.
So that's my prediction, 2-1.
All right, Hamisu, thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you
All right,
after
thank
the
you.
game.
All right, thank you.